Some viewers may find this content disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Who dares awaken me from my slumber? Jody Cook, this must mean it is finally time to share the truth about the LBL Massacre here on Midnight Lycanthropy. Yet before we do head out, I am very hungry. Much better. It is always nice to replenish myself before we do head out to deal with the madness known as the Dogman. So, without further ado, my creatures of the night, Jody and Cook, and myself are about ready to tackle the Dogman. This is from the North American Dogman Project archives. And guess what? Jody Cook is one of the original Dogman researchers that went down and spent time with Jan Thompson and getting a chance to understand what truly unfolded, as well as visiting the infamous location. So now that we actually have some facts out there, let's now dive in to the report. November 1982, Land Between the Lakes, and Jan Thompson was the first person who was not unseen to originally speak with the two deputies who were called in to the crime scene of a family of 4 who had been brutally in their RV, which had later been discovered by another group of campers passing by. Jan Thompson's grandfather was a local sheriff, so she personally knew these deputies very well. She saw them almost daily. For being a small town, they stopped in to the local convenience store she worked at consistently. They told Jan that the entrance to the RV was completely bent and the door had been ripped clean off the hinges by something with tremendous power. And on the inside of the RV, the two deputies said the scene was so disturbing, it looked worse than any horror movie imaginable. And there was a ton of blood and enormous claw marks consisting of 5 digits and a thumb found all over the interior of the RV, indicating something large and strong had done all this carnage. The mother was found badly deceased and mauled, laying on top of her son, who was also deceased and who had again been brutally mauled. Clothing of the father, mother, son, and little girl were found inside the RV, which led the deputies to begin searching for the missing bodies. The father was found outside with his arm ripped clean off, with strange jet black hair in his hand, as well as his shotgun laying on the ground nearby. Upon further investigation outside of the RV, the two deputies find something even more disturbing than the interior. As the pair were walking underneath some nearby trees a short distance away, one deputy looked over at his partner and asked, "Are you injured?" Answering with no, why, his partner suddenly realized there was blood dripping from somewhere above him and down upon the brim of his hat. Looking up, the two deputies see a mangled little girl in the tree with her back broken and her internal organs missing. The deputies were later able to verify the little girl was part of the family of four by clothing found within the RV belonging to her. There have been a few instances where hikers or hunters have stumbled upon the remains of disfigured animals tossed up into high locations of trees. Makes one wonder if these creatures, aka the Dogmen, are marking their territory. The two deputies themselves had a theory that the boy must have been attacked, or the little girl was potentially being taken away by a dogman when the father shot at it. The deputies also believed there was only one creature involved. Very shortly after piecing this all together at the crime scene, other high-up officials suddenly arrive and begin dismissing people, including the deputies, from the scene and the entire case in general. Both deputies verified the story on their deathbed, as did Jan Thompson. Elijah Henderson from Cryptid Studies Institute has also been down and found the original massacre area location. You can see where it has been bulldozed and rearranged to no longer be easily accessible or seen by the general public, once again solidifying a potential dogman cover-up. A supposed witness came forward named Roger, claiming he was a survivor and a family friend of the massacre. There are too many discrepancies in his story versus the original deputies to give it any merit, including one where he claims it wasn't a brutal site. Also, Roger claims he hid under the frame of the RV until he felt it was safe to then proceed and run into the darkness of the night until a local farmer picked him up. Personally, again, I think Roger's story has some major flaws. That, unfortunately, in my opinion, is also a way to try to discredit Jan Thompson and the original witnesses. This is my own thoughts and feelings on the matter, and not necessarily the feelings of every North American Dogman Project member. I won't spend too much more time on Roger, but I will also say he was speaking to Cryptid Studies Institute under two previous aliases before coming forward as Roger. Also, a big question I have is, in Roger's own words, he claimed it was absolutely pitch black out, and after 15 minutes or so, he felt all of a sudden safe, and that the dogman had just vanished and this animal was no longer going to come and detect his scent? Interesting. And then miraculously, a farmer just picks him up. There's just a lot of questions I personally have with Roger's version of the events involving the Dogman Massacre. And as I said earlier in the video, Jody has spoken directly to Jan Thompson and other witnesses down there, and Roger didn't exist. So, if we are going to do Dogman research and dive in to the facts and finding answers, let's make sure to spread proper awareness. There was only one Dogman. And as I stated, there was only a father, a mother, a daughter, and a boy that were involved. Others would like to say, well, this is just a marketing technique. Let's be real. We're talking about the 80s in a small place in Kentucky. Yeah, that's one way to get people to come visit your campground. And also think, if outsiders were coming down and just asking questions about something that was traumatic, and you felt that they were trying to exploit you, would you sit down and talk to people? Thank you for once again stopping by the Fox Den tonight. I do appreciate it. And I also hope you were able to seep up some facts and no more fiction. Because to be quite honest with you, the whole LBL family massacre is legitimately the weakest flex in the Dogman phenomenon. So most likely, I will not be covering this particular event again. I said what I needed to say and what has been documented by the North American Dogman Project. As always, stay safe out there. Be good people and realize we do have your back, and we'll be watching over you, making sure the Dogman stays in line. Yet, until next time, I grow tired, and I do need to rest. I shall see you on the next one.